That's important too. Most people don't interact with the Supreme Court, but many people will either have like a state or district court federal case. They will interact with some judge at some point in their lives. And what does it say about judges when they are mistreating their own employees behind the scenes? When we think about this former judge, Joshua Kindred, an analysis of his cases found that over his 5 years on the bench, he dismissed, I think, every Title VII claim that came before him. And he was also, mistreating his clerks. So there is spillover from what these judges do behind the scenes if they're engaging in misconduct and how they treat litigants, how they treat criminal defendants. We really need to have a bigger conversation about who is being appointed to these lifetime federal appointments.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate that you're getting that conversation started. And I guess, to even go into some more specifics, if people are listening right now, what is your organization doing? How should, what does that process look like specifically? And what should lawyers do if they have information to provide or want to get involved?
We do all the things because there is a lot of work to be done. LAP increases transparency, accountability, and diversity in clerkships and the judiciary through thought leadership, legislative advocacy, and innovative legal technology. And that third bucket, legal tech, has really become the hallmark of our work. We launched this year a centralized clerkships database. It's been compared to Yelp or Glassdoor for judges. It's an innovative and common sense legal tech and transparency platform that democratizes judicial clerkship information. It's basically a platform where law clerks who've worked for judges can review their powerful bosses anonymously if they choose, after we, of course, verify their identities. I know who they are, but folks reading the reviews may not. This vastly increases the breadth and candor of responses. It's kind of modeled loosely off what some law schools, particularly the top 14 ones, have historically tried to do, which is survey their alums about their experience and make that information accessible to students, sometimes in an internal database. Now, the problems with those are numerous. There is a real issue of veracity and candor because law schools have messaged that if you had a negative experience, don't tell us. The responses in those internal databases are uniformly positive, making them basically useless. And they kind of ask the wrong questions. They're not really intended to elucidate candid responses. So we ask the right questions based on what students say they want to know before clerking, what clerks say they wish they'd known before clerking. And we pull from law clerks nationwide. We already have 1,300 submissions, about more than 900 federal and state judges. And we've been doing this platform for about a year. It's been live for students for 6 months. We started collecting reviews about 15 months ago. So we are the largest independent repository of clerkship info in the US. Our database is already bigger than most top 14 law schools' internal databases. So if you clerked, you can share your experience with LAP at survey.legalaccountabilityproject.org anonymously if you'd like. If you are a student or recent graduate applying for judicial clerkships, you can visit that same link to register for database access. It is $40 for an entire year of access. And we've already onboarded 1,000 students and young lawyers in our first season of doing this. This has really changed the conversation around clerking. Folks who know clerkships know about LAP. And this is really the resource I wish existed as a law student and law clerk. So that is an important aspect of our work. I also write and speak about these issues a lot. I interface with law schools and law students because they have really historically been the facilitators of judicial clerkships. To be honest, based on the landscape right now, which is pretty bleak, I no longer think they should be. So I'm happy for LAP to fill the gap. But we do a lot of law school programming. We're on season 5 of the Law School Roadshow. We've visited more than 50 law schools over the past 2 years to talk about challenges clerks might face, the questions to ask yourself and others before clerking, and why you must be mindful about who you clerk for, and why nobody should willingly endure abuse. And then we do some legislative advocacy around the Judiciary Accountability Act because, our work does not wait on anybody, not the judiciary, not law schools, not Congress, though we do work with those stakeholders and their support is meaningful. there really is no solution for legislative reform. Congress must extend Title VII protections to the federal judiciary. There is a former North Carolina federal public defender, Karen Strickland, who sued the Fourth Circuit after she was harassed and then retaliated against. So these issues are urgent. They are salient in the public consciousness right now. And so basically we fire on all cylinders because there's a lot of work to do. But this is my baby. I launched this a little over 2 years ago. I do this full time and it's challenging, but there's a real unmet need, and the positive response I get every day from law students, law clerks, many practicing attorneys, and more judges in the law schools than I expected, considering the, accountability work we do, really galvanizes me to keep going.
Yeah. I mean, I think some people probably think, oh, the judges must hate this. But as you said, there's a lot of great judges out there who probably want to welcome it because they want their colleagues to be the best and to be respected. And so changing that conversation.
Yeah. So the response from the judiciary has been surprisingly positive, and we've, tried to engage them in a few ways. We have a judge on our board of directors and some judges on our advisory board, and they kind of help us engage with specific courts, and they're wonderful. We also initiated something called the LAP Pledge, like maybe 6 months or a year ago, encouraging judges to circulate our post-clerkship survey to their law clerk families. The response has been great. Judges are happy too. And I think most judges are generally supportive of the work because they believe that their reviews will be positive. And so they are happy for more students to learn about their chambers. I know that many judges, particularly outside like the big metro areas or state judges, would like to get more diverse applicants. And so this kind of spotlights some judges people might not have thought to work for before. Of course, we don't have 100% support from the judiciary, nor do we seek it. But I would say there is 100% overlap between judges who oppose our work and judges who are mistreating their clerks. Yeah.
Yeah.